Good morning, everyone. Guys, almost 4,000 of our elderly could die with regard, well, not with regards, but in response to the winter fuel payment cuts that the Labour government are trying to push through. Now, guys, this is from a report that the Labour Party did in 2017, and there's a few things that people are missing. I mean, this is on mainstream at the moment, and this has been, being pushed by the mainstream outlets. What I want to give you is not an alternate perspective, but a deeper understanding of what the actual report means and what the ramifications of that are. And then quickly, guys, before we get into this video, let's just cast our minds back to like 4 years ago when we saw this absolute insanity of old people in care homes being given certain medical interventions and then just expiring like in mass numbers. I can remember watching, I can't remember what news outlet it was, but I was watching that. We were sat at home, and I can't believe that. First of all, I can't believe that they let the media report on it. I've never seen the report since. I've tried to search it to put it at the end or like show you guys. But I remember somebody stood outside one of these old people's care homes, and the woman, the anchor of the reporter, she was there. I can't remember if she had a mask on or not, but she was talking and she's saying, yeah, this care home for the elderly, they just managed to stay, virus free. And, they stayed free for so long, but, as soon as they had their injections, that 2 weeks period before it becomes, while it's incubating in your body or something, while that's happening, they just all expired and they're gone now. And I was thinking, I was banging my head on the TV. I was thinking like, right, is nobody making this correlation? This is happening all over the country. And safe and effective. Can you remember that? Can you remember that? Was that misinformation? And then from the video I did yesterday, and I'll link the original source to that video in this description. If you remember the video that Dr. John Campbell did, and he's talking about these self-assembling artifacts that are in this certain medication now. Guys, it seems to me there's like a war or something to try and, it seems like there's a war against our elderly. And this to me is just absolutely grotesque. Our elderly built this country. We stand on their shoulders. And under no circumstances should we be giving money to anyone else until our elderly, until our elderly people are looked after. So what I'm talking about today then, guys, is the, where is it? So from a report that the Labour Party did in 2017, they identified that 3,850 people will die. There'll be an increase in death. Sorry, let me read it. Sorry. I'll read you the headline. Keir Starmer's plan to strip 10 million pensioners of winter fuel payment could kill nearly 4,000 people, says Labour's own research. So back in 2017, they did some research. This was when Theresa May was looking like axing the winter fuel payment. So when Keir Starmer sat in the sat in the shadow cabinet, it warned that Conservative plans. So this is warning when the Conservatives mean to do it. Plan to axe allowances for 10 million elderly voters. I don't know why it's calling them voters. Would increase excess deaths by 3,850 that winter. So let's look at the two aspects of this. Let's look at the first aspect is that the report is correct, the report is true, and we will take that at face value. Okay, since 2017, what's happened? Fuel prices have gone up ridiculously. They have, guys, 100%. Well, they've probably not gone up 100%, but nobody can deny that the fuel prices have gone up. The cost of living has gone up. The price of absolutely everything, including energy, has gone up ridiculously. So when this report was written, I would argue that number, 3,850, is going to be actually a lot higher because now things are more expensive, and they're in short supply. So that's one aspect. The other aspect that nobody's even mentioned is And it, you know, and it's absolutely like absolutely dystopian that I'm even talking about it. If this is the Labour Party's own research and their own evaluation, do we think they don't know about it? No, of course they know about it. It's their research. So then you go down the line of, right, okay, so you know about it. So you either accept this, you're accepting that, you know, almost 4,000 pensioners are going to die, or your own research is not credible and you don't believe your own research. Now, if it's the latter, in the context that they don't believe their own research because they know it's a sham, they know it's fake, how much more of their own research is a sham, is it a fake, is politically, politically motivated, politically spurred? Remember how we gave the, I talked about how you can lie with statistics, and unless you really understand the statistics, on the face of it, you're like, oh, right, yeah, those statistics don't lie. And that's right, statistics don't lie. But you can lie with statistics. It's easy. So let's just have a quick look at the article, guys. Well, I'll not dwell on it too much. But, this just shows you that we don't really, when we had this election, we didn't really, we didn't really elect anything new. We're literally getting the exact same. So this is from the Mail Online. So Keir Starmer, we've read that bit. Here we are, guys. So it warned that Conservative plan to axe the allowance for 10 million voters could, see an increase in deaths by 3,850. Again, guys, I am going to argue that number right now in today's political situation, the climate in the United Kingdom with the cost of living, I'm going to say that number is a lot higher. Because remember, back here, we didn't have the Putin invasion of Ukraine. We didn't have the cost of living. We didn't have the mass amounts of money that's being printed to pay for PPE and stuff. And we also, and with that amount of money being printed, you always, guys, there's no exception. There's no rule. There's no exception to this rule. You always get inflation. Now, the problem with inflation, it's never constant over the board. So while inflation will eventually bring salaries up, it never does it in line with the cost of everything. Anyway, sorry. And it called Theresa May's proposal, which was later abandoned, the single biggest attack on pensioners in a generation in our country. So this is what they called it, guys. This is what Labour called what they're doing now. So Labour are now consciously doing this. Guys, there's no denying it. This is from Labour's own words. This is, and again, I'm telling you what this is saying. Whether they believe it themselves or not, it doesn't matter. But that leads us down another route. Do they just publish documents that are politically charged to get on headlines? So there we go, guys. So single biggest attack on pensioners in a generation. The revelation has sparked accusations of blatant hypocrisy from Labour's own MPs as the party now forces through the deeply unpopular means testing of the energy bill subsidy. Now, guys, I'm going to suspect that this is going to be reversed at some point. I think it'll be reversed because, and again, I've not got a crystal ball, guys. I'm just speculating. I would say that when this gets to the vote, they're voting, I think, tomorrow in Parliament, whatever that means. I would say this is going to be. I would say this is going to be reversed. Now, does it matter? No, absolutely not, because they're taking this much, then they give you this much back, and everybody thinks it's a victory. It will be all over the newspapers. Democracy rules and save our old people, and all sorts of good stuff. But guys, they're still going to take that money from somewhere else. It's not, and then Keir Starmer will come up and he'll say, oh, well, we've got to pay for the elderly now. So, we're going to have to tax this person or have cuts here. So that money's coming from somewhere. All right. We're going to be taxed more. There's no way around it. If we save a little bit of money from the pensioners, they're going to take it off them somewhere else. So, like I said, they take this much, they give this much back, and then everything goes quiet, and then they take this much again, and then everybody complains, and then they give this much back, and you're like, oh, right, we're winning the system, and we're not winning. We've still lost this much, and we've gained back this much. So that's just what's happening at the moment, guys. It's absolutely wild. I can't believe, you can either say the hypocrisy or the fake reporting. Either way, guys, it's absolutely insane. That number, 3,850, I would say that's an old number if it's true and if we're led to believe it, which, you know, I guess we should do because it's an actual parliamentary report or whatever you call them. I'm going to argue that that number is going to be a lot greater right now because of the cost of living, the fuel crisis, the energy crisis. Prices of everything have gone up since 2017. So that's what we're looking at, guys, okay? We're looking at almost 4,000 elderly could die with this winter fuel payment. Now, when we see this in Parliament tomorrow, if this gets rejected or if it gets upheld by Parliament, you know, it doesn't matter because we're still losing this much and we're either going to lose this much or we're going to lose this much. We're still losing a lot of freedoms. We're still going to get taxed a lot. You know, nothing good is coming in the United Kingdom. And I would say nothing good's coming in the Western world for the next few years considerably. Anyway, guys, I'm going to back to grid. Let me know what you guys think. I'll speak to you guys soon.